My brother from another mother, I salute you. How are you doing today? I am doing great. Before we start, can I please ask you to do this? Let's all do this, please. It costs you nothing. We feel appreciated. It's done. Great stuff. Thank you very much for stopping. I was waiting for you. Wait, let's talk about some good things about Africa. This country here, Niger, you've heard about it numerous times. Niger has come up with a decree. It's basically a law. Brand new law. Doing what? From now on, they will prioritize product from the country. Meaning, if you are subsidized by the government, if you work for the government, if your company is a contractor of the government, if you are assigned a work or a job to build roads, to build school, to build an hospital, to produce things for children at school, you must get those products locally. Congratulations. Pigama coffee, baby. Pigama coffee. Yeah, Pigama coffee is clap your hand in Swahili. Again, Swahili is the most spoken language in Africa. All these countries here, everybody speaks Swahili. Yeah, the twang is different, they sound different, but if they listen to each other carefully with patience, they will understand each other. Maybe you should learn Swahili too. Matter of fact, South Africa just voted Swahili into the constitution as one of the extra languages. I believe that's the way to go. Anyway. Now, Niger is this country. It was colonized by the French. Many, many years ago, they were controlled. The economy, the social, and everything. A couple of years ago, this man right here toppled the president. This guy here. Okay, so you see this guy, light-skinned guy, was toppled by this guy, dark-skinned guy. Okay, forget about the light-skinned and dark-skinned. Anyway, the previous president, Mohamed Bazoum, was a big player of the French. He was controlled by French. Matter of fact, the country was hungry while the French were eating. They were taking all the uranium. This here is uranium. It's called the yellow cake. Very, very important, very rich, very expensive. French people came and got uranium as much as they wanted. And just make sure they nourish the president. Give the president some money. He's going to shut his own people up. Now, this man here, Tiani, got angry and he overthrew the president. He was actually the chief of security of the president. They took over the country. Now, he wants to work for the people. One of the things he's done is what? They've now said that this decree now establishes the obligation for government administration, public enterprises, and organizations receiving state subsidies to purchase locally produced food, except in case where such products are unavailable. Now, how does this grow the country? Support local producers like farmers and artisans. Number 2, reduce dependence on imports. Number 3, stimulate job creation. Number 4, strengthen food and industrial sovereignty. Number 5, implementation mechanism. Okay, let's get back to number 1. Okay, support local producers. Obviously, if you have people making maize in your country, making bananas, you shouldn't be buying bananas from elsewhere until the locally made banana is grown enough. You shouldn't give them competition. They need to grow. By doing that, you support the local farmers. You support the artisans so they can do work. Let's say people produce t-shirts locally. You should prioritize them to sell the t-shirt so they can get better. You can't put them into competition in other places. Let me give you an example. There are countries here in Africa. They order military equipment from foreign countries. And people get tendered to order military equipment. We're talking about clothes from other countries. Now, when they speak to China to import the military equipment, China say, I'm going to charge you, I'm going to give you a stupid example, $1 million. Okay? Then they're going to say to the government, we need $50 million. China only asked for $1 million. They took $50 million from the government. The $45 million could have been used to build schools, to build markets, to build hospitals, pharmacies. One person has used it for his personal interest, so he can have 5 wives. This is a reality of many countries in Africa. Like this one, DRC, Republic of Congo. This is what they go through. And forget about the mayhem and the wars and the stuff. This is one of the issues they have. Now, not in Niger. You're not going to do that. You need to purchase things that are administrative from the country, locally. Number 3, this reduces dependence on imports. I mean, there are countries in Africa that don't even make matches. They have to be imported. Gillette, what do you call it? Razor for your beard has to be imported. So you can't even shave your personal place. It's crazy stuff. By endorsing local people, you get them to create. So you give them some subsidies and money so they can create, and you force people to buy from them until they are grown enough. Then they face competition. Number 5, this stimulates jobs and creation. The more you have industries locally, more you have jobs. People don't run away going to Europe looking for opportunities. Then last, this strengthens food and industrial food sovereignty. When they ask you to order food for soldiers or for school children, and you order from Holland, you're enriching Holland. But if you order from local farmers, you are making sure the farmers grow and they can be competitive. Number 2, you are not dependent on Holland, because if Holland sanctions you, they don't send you food anymore, you starve. Are we together? Is this a good thing or not? Now, I think this is very interesting. The list has not been provided yet of items that have to be ordered locally unless it's not available. But here's some of the countries that are doing very similar thing. Number 1, the United States of America. Okay, the USA has got a very interesting act. They call it Buy American Act, 1933. Okay, this was reinforced in 2021. Okay, basically the requirement is to purchase product made in the USA for federally funded projects up to 75%. So if you're looking for constructions, materials, it has to be purchased from the USA. Okay, that strengthens the economy. We have Rwanda. Look at Rwanda on the map. Rwanda has done something very interesting. Rwanda obliged people in the textile and clothing industry, like school uniforms, have to be made and purchased from local traders. Administrative attires for cleaners, for security guards, for some, businesses that are linked to the state must be purchased from locally made industries. This grows the local industry. Construction material, you want to build a home, build a house, build, a building. Okay. It has to be locally produced clay bricks. You must buy from Rwanda. You must buy locally produced cement, locally produced roofing and sheet. Okay. That's obviously is for public construction contract. I'm not talking about private stuff. If you have your own money, you can go buy from Europe if you want. But if this is a public building, they have to produce and buy from the local people to give them the boost that they need. School and office furniture must be made by local artisans or businesses. No buying from China. No flying to Japan. No getting money from government to go get books from some. No, it has to be made locally. That is how you grow a country. Now, let me put it this way for you. Many African countries, unfortunately, produce nothing. They just consume it. They just eat. Everything comes from, they don't produce anything. They're just eaters. And this has to stop. Now let's go to Madagascar. Madagascar has announced, fellas, the revocation of the Malagasy nationality from a former president. This man right here, Andry Rajoelina, former president. He was kicked out like 2 weeks ago by this man right here, a soldier, a colonel. We spoke about this. The colonel seized an opportunity. There were many young people in the street angry at the president. Why? Because of the lack of electricity. There was not enough electricity for everybody. There was load shedding. Maybe having electricity for 2 hours a day was bad. No water. Now, the government was so corrupt that they made sure the electricity was available only to the elite, the member of the Senate, the friends and cousins of the president. Other people else were just left on their own. Now, the students went to the street marching angrily. Then they were supported all of a sudden by the military. Now, the military was asked to shoot the students. They refused to do so. This colonel right here seized the opportunity to overthrow the president. Now, the bomb line here is Rajoelina had 2 nationalities. Even though he's a Malagasy president, he was also French. He acquired the French nationality in 2014 while he was still leading the country. Imagine, you are a president in an African country, but you acquire nationality from another country. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. That shows a bit of a inferiority complex. Like, I can understand you as a citizen getting a nationality from another country, but as a president, how do you explain that? Now, the Act 42 of the Malagasy Nationality Code stipulate that Malagasy citizens may be stripped of their nationality upon acquiring a foreign one, especially if it conflicts with national interest or legal obligation. So as a president, should you have another nationality from another country? Well, Rajoelina is not president anymore, but they have stripped him of the Malagasy nationality. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. Niger basically forcing people to buy from Niger. Okay, no more buying things from elsewhere. We need to build the economy. We need to build local production. Is this a good thing or not? It was a great pleasure. I want to seize this opportunity to thank all the people that are supporting us privately, people from the private group. I see you. I respect you. Thank you for being here. We're going to have our live this weekend where we're going to talk. So you can call me and we can talk on the live. I appreciate you again. Drop a comment. This is not about me speaking. It's about us learning together.
Okay, let's get started. I salute you from all over the world. Puerto Rico, St. Lucia, Haiti, Antigua, Barbados, Cuba, Dominican Republic, St. Vincent, Grenadine, Trinidad, Tobago. I see you from all over the place. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you. It's a beautiful day, I know. And I look good. God, I look good. You see that? I look good. Anyway, let's get back to track. So today we're going to go very quickly across the world and see what's happening, obviously with emphasis on Africa. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. My name is Zack. It's your first time. Welcome to the family. We like to see you, okay? We want you to stay. We really want you to stay. So first thing first, if it's your first time, click on the button subscribe so we can see each other every single day. If you're a regular, please, you know what it is. Can I ask you to do this? Please let the all do this. It's cost you nothing. We feel appreciated. It's done. Great stuff. Ibrahim Traoré. You know Ibrahim Traoré, this man right here. I'm sure you heard about him. Everybody have heard about Ibrahim Traoré in the black community, right? We saw there was a moment where he was under threat from the United States of America. Some general was saying bad things. I think General Langley. And everybody stood across the world in support of Ibrahim Traoré. All people from African descent stood up in support of Ibrahim Traoré because he's doing great things. I mean, we know in most cases, as soon as Africa is a great leader, they get him unalived. Like this man right here. This is Thomas Sankara. When he came into power, he was empowering women. He got men to do a work. Actually, there was an extra day for men to do all the work in the house, basically giving women a break. So the man had to go to the market and buy food on that day, make sure the house is clean, make sure everything is looked after. The man will cook and make sure the lady just relax. Yes, he did that. Great man, but they got him unalived. Now everybody supported Traoré because we see in him a fresh human being, 37 years old, fighting hard for Africa. Now, there are some negative things coming from Burkina Faso, right? I believe firmly we need to talk about. We're going to talk about Burkina Faso today. We're going to touch up on Zambia. We're going to touch up on Rwanda. We're going to touch up a bit in Germany and Ukraine. You need to know about that. It's very important. We're going to go to South Africa and many other places. Okay, so what's happening in Burkina Faso? Well, in Burkina Faso, they're accusing the government of arresting people for no reason. Okay, the judicial officers and journalists are targeted, according to Human Rights Watch. They say at least 6 judges, 1 lawyer, and several journalists were abducted and detained in October. We're talking about October. We are in October 2025. Okay, they're talking about disappearances of people that have a voice. Okay, so Human Rights Watch is accusing Ibrahim Traoré of a crackdown on people who are speaking a language that he doesn't necessarily like. These individuals were reportedly taken by Burkina Faso intelligence agents and they have disappeared up until now. And people are asking questions. I mean, if it's really, I know I got a dog. You can see the dog behind. I got 2 big dogs. They're very big. They don't play. They will eat you alive. No doubt about that. Anyway, let's get back to Burkina Faso. So what's happened? Human rights say that in 2024 and 2025, multiple journalists were abducted by intelligence agents and forced into military service. Imagine you as a journalist being abducted and sent to war. Now, what could be the reason why they will take a journalist and send him to war? Well, basically, these journalists were refuting what was happening at war. Burkina Faso, this is the map, is at war. They're fighting against a lot of terrorists. And every time generals or authorities were talking about the war, on how they were winning and how they were progressing, journalists were refuting this news. They were telling the people that the army is exaggerating their wins. They're not necessarily winning the way they are pretending to win. Now the question is, you as a leader of a country fighting against terrorists, when you are faced with journalists that are civilians, that are talking in a way that is counterproductive to your war rhetoric, how do you act in that situation? Well, Burkina Faso took them and said, because you guys saying that I need to go through elections and there is no war, I am taking you to front so you can fight. And then you're going to tell people if the war is reality or a lie. So a bunch of people were taken, a few guys were taken to front to go and see the terrorists because they were saying there was no terrorist. It was all rhetoric so he can keep himself in power. And obviously Human Rights Watch is not happy with that. There is a specific case of a person named Khalifa Sere, a former senior official turned journalist. He was abducted in June 2024. You remember, this is Human Rights Watch speaking. After questioning junta propaganda, including a photo of Ibrahim Traore giving blood. Now, did Ibrahim Traore give blood? Surely he gave blood, and there was a picture of it. And he said that he was trying to portray himself as a good guy, you know, taking a picture of him taking blood and providing it to other people. It's just propaganda. It doesn't necessarily reflect who he is. Now, my question is this one. As much as it sounds like people are being pressed and stuff like that, can you do such thing in Ukraine? In Ukraine, would you contradict what Zelensky says when they're fighting the Russians? Would you say, no, we're not winning. Zelensky is telling you lies to the public? You wouldn't do that, would you? Matter of fact, in Ukraine, many of the people that spoke, you know, on behalf of peace with Russia were all stopped. You know, many political parties in Ukraine that stands to be, passive toward Russians were all prevented from operating. Churches were closed because they did not speak a language that was Ukrainian, according to them. Can we say that Burkina Faso is turning into an authoritarian government, or they are doing the right thing because of the time they're going through? Let me know how you feel about that. And now we're going to Germany. Now, fellas, a German party leader demand actions against Ukraine. So basically, the guy is saying there are way too many Ukrainians now crossing from Ukraine to Germany. We would like Germany and the European Union to put pressure on Ukraine to ask them to restrict their men from coming to Germany. So the Ukrainians must stay in Ukraine and fight the war. Okay. He emphasized that Ukraine should reverse its relaxed exit rule, suggesting that most young men should stay and defend their homeland. So for you to understand, basically, I know a lot of you think German people don't like you, Europeans don't like black people. Well, they also don't want Ukrainians in the country anymore. They say there are way too many Ukrainians. They're seeing about 1,000 new Ukrainian men coming into the country. It's unacceptable for them. And this is a leader of a political party. The context in Ukraine was this one. So when the war started in Ukraine, Ukrainians say that everybody will go to war. If you are between 18 and 60, you will be prohibited from leaving the country due to martial law and mandatory military service obligations. So the Ukrainians said everybody will go to war. All men, we need you to go defend the country. Okay? Now, there was exceptions. The exception were people with certified disabilities, truck drivers. I know you always mock truck drivers, but in Ukraine it was great to be a truck driver because then you will not be forced to go to war. There were sole givers or sole caregivers of disabled relatives. They couldn't go to war. Everybody else from 18 to 16 was forced to go to war, which is a great thing, I believe. I think if you truly love your country, you should be able to fight for it. Yes. And I praise Ukraine because they don't have cowards, you know? I mean, this is very different. Like people from Congo, DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, a lovely place, you know, a lot of music, a lot of passion and culture. But men don't like war. There are 100 million human beings in that country right here. You can see on a map, not this Congo, this one here. Okay, 100 million people, they're still complaining about the war against Rwanda. Here's Rwanda, small country. I think they're less than 8 million human beings. Now, these 100 million human beings are scared to go fight these ones because there's no such thing as a law where everybody can go to war, you know? And also they don't want to die. Anyway, we don't want to see Africans kill each other. Let's get back to Ukraine. So initially, men from 18 to 16 were forced to go and fight against Russia in the name of patriotism. Then later on, I believe in August 2025, Ukraine cabinet minister approved a change allowing men aged 18 to 22 to exit the country without restriction. You know, so a lot of men that wanted to go study, you know, abroad could go. And this move was intended to regulate border crossing, you know, during martial law. Unfortunately, according to Marcus Soder, this has created mayhem. About 1,000 Ukrainians crossing to Germany every single week, and they don't want that. That's creating problems for them. But there's a rapid influx of migrants can strain housing, education, and social services, especially in the region of Moravia. So basically, the Germans are saying we're spending too much money on the people that are not our people. They should go back to the country and go fight. And I know when you tell black people that way, they think it's racism. Yeah. Well, it's very difficult also in many black people country. People are just cowards. They don't want to fight. And even the ones that want to fight will be accused. They will be snitched upon by their own brothers. I mean, how do you support a country like that? Let's move to the United States of America. Fellas, Elon Musk is doing something scary. Okay? If you heard of an army of robots, yes, I think we're moving toward the direction that's very, very scary. So Elon Musk basically is asking for $1 trillion in stock-based compensation. And I know you don't certainly understand what is stock-based compensation, and we don't expect you to understand. I know a lot of people, you need to do some science or finances to understand that. I will break it down for you. Trust me, this is family. Stock-based compensation. Elon Musk wants $1 trillion in stock-based compensation out of Tesla. His goal is to get Tesla. Let me explain to you. Now, what is stock-based compensation? So stock-based compensation is basically what a company promises a CEO to motivate him into building the value of the company. A simple example, they can offer you, let's say, $100 million if you reach such a goal. That's basically stock-based compensation. It's not money they're giving you, it's shares in the company, okay, worth $100 million. If you get the company to be worth $500 million. Do you understand? Are we together? Great. So Musk is asking for $1 trillion worth of stock-based compensation if he gets Tesla's value to $4 trillion. Are we together? I know a lot of people think Tesla belongs to Elon Musk. Well, it belongs to him, but not necessarily. The shareholders, okay, people put their money together into businesses so the business can have value. Now, Musk is not the only owner of Tesla. There are many people. Musk has shares. Musk shares is about 13% of Tesla is his. Now, he wants to reach 25% worth of shares of Tesla. Why? Because with 25%, he can make the decision. He can block decisions and he can be a big player in the direction of Tesla. Now, why is this necessary for Musk? Musk says he wouldn't feel comfortable leading Tesla's robot army vision, fearing interference from board and investors. Did you hear that? Musk, let's go slowly. Elon Musk says he wouldn't feel comfortable leading Tesla's robot army vision, fearing interference from board and investors. So, as Musk just jumped into the world that Tesla is building an army of robots. Okay, this is where AI is going. Musk says its goal is not personal wealth, but control over Tesla's future, especially in AI development, Tesla Optimum, which is humanoid robot, so robots that are like humans, autonomous vehicle, and energy robotic infrastructure. So, let me break it down again. Make it simple. Elon Musk is saying, I need you to give me $1 trillion worth of shares, which will equate to 25% of the value of the company. Why? If I get the company to a value of $4 trillion. Now, the company right now is worth about just over $1 trillion. Now, Musk promised, he says he can get it to $4 trillion. But at $4 trillion, I want 25%. Now, why? Because he feels like he needs to have great decisions and guidance and not be abrupted when the decisions are being made when Tesla robot designed for military are ready. We're going into a different world, my brother. I mean, this sounds to me like da-dun, dun, da-dun, da-dun, dun, da-dun, da-dun, dun, da-dun, da-da-dun, dun, da-dun, dun, dun. Which movie is that? The Terminator. Yeah, we are going. Let's go to Rwanda. Fellas, in Rwanda, something very interesting is happening. Rwanda is developing a system that's very interesting. Matter of fact, I need to say Rwanda is one of the most serious countries in Africa. Okay, if you're looking for seriousness, I'm talking about seriousness. Rwanda is the place you want to be. Very little corruption. They have their own problems, true. But if you're looking for serious, you won't be disappointed. Now, Rwanda has come up with something very interesting. They're building a digital alert system. What is this alert? This alert is a system to alert everybody in a country via their cell phone, should the need occur. Now, why is this system important? Because the national alert emergency is something that's going to help them send a message to the people as soon as they want it, within 1 second. Now, you're probably asking yourself a question. Why don't they just use SMS like everybody else, like SMS broadcast? Well, SMS broadcasts have limitations. They don't necessarily reach the hand side of the country. They don't necessarily get there on time, and it's not delivered immediately to everybody. Unlike the digital alert system, they say this is for disaster coverage. Like the alert will help you cover emergencies like flood, landslides, earthquake, volcanic eruption, and pandemics. So basically, Rwanda is building something very similar to what you see in Japan and Korea. You know, Japan has a very advanced system of alert. And they say this aligns with the United Nations Early Warning for All. And that is where the problem is. It aligns with the United Nations Early Warning for All initiative by 2022. So the United Nations came up with a plan that every country should have an Early Warning for All initiative by 2027. Now, Early Warning for All, it's basically you have microphones in the street, you have telecommunication system, so you can alert people of something immediately all across the country. Why would you need that? Why does that sound like an Orwellian thing? 1984. Why does that look like a movie where everybody get in the house, be careful, don't look through the window. I don't know. It sounds good, but there's a lot of questions. Why does Japan have it? Japan has it because Japan has to fight against earthquakes, tsunamis, typhoons, volcanic eruptions. That is a reality you see every single day. Now, why would Rwanda have it? I'm just asking a question. So let me know how you feel about this. It's always a great pleasure, fellas. Burkina Faso throwing people in jail. Journalists and lawyers going to jail. What is the matter? Is this correct or not? Germany asking the European Union to ask Ukraine to keep their boys in the country. They don't want them. Is this racism or not? Elon Musk wants 25% shares of Tesla in order to control the humanoid, in order to control the robot army that's coming in the future. This is a warning, fellas. It's always a great pleasure, drop a comment if you have not done it yet. We need it so the channel can go further. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. God bless. There's a deadly clash in Kenya. Deadly clashes erupt at politician's funeral service in Kenya. Okay, my people, let's go across the continent of Africa very quickly to see what's happening. It's crazy, man. It's crazy that you're here today, and I love you very much. Thank you. My name is Zack. I appreciate you. Thank you for choosing us. This is home. If you want to know anything about the motherlands, you are at the right place. Now, we are in Kenya. Here's Kenya on the map. Beautiful place, lovely people. If you've never been to Kenya, it's one of the countries I would suggest you do, especially if you are from the diaspora. It really doesn't matter whether you're African or American, Caribbean. Kenya is a beautiful place to visit. You're gonna love it. The outdoors, the nightclubs. If you are into that life, you love it. The restaurants, the people, the women. Just make sure you got money. You better have money in Kenya. Yeah, you better have money. You want full Kenyans, trust me. But you're gonna find your people, no doubt about that. I see a lot of African Americans moving to Kenya, though. A lot of them. Now, unfortunately, there was a situation where I saw some Kenyans complaining about some African Americans. I think they call themselves the passport bros or something. I believe one tried to do some funny thing with a Kenyan girl, trying to film himself while doing funny thing with a Kenyan girl. Okay, Kenyans are wild. Okay, you're welcome to Kenya, but don't be funny with Kenyans. They're very smart. Okay. Anyway, this is not a representation of African Americans in Kenya. Those are just low life people doing negative things with people. Let's get back on track. So why are we talking about Kenya right now? There's a deadly clash in Kenya. Deadly clashes erupt at politician's funeral service in Kenya. Raila Odinga passed away a couple of days ago, and as they were celebrating his life, a deadly clash erupted. Security forces in Nairobi used live rounds to shoot on people. Okay, and reports say up to 4 people were unalive by the shooting and many people were injured. This is crazy. So you went to celebrate somebody's life, somebody that was preeminent in the country. Raila Odinga was a dominant figure in Kenya's opposition for about 40 years. This man, for 40 years, he fought for the freedom of the people. 40 years trying to get into power, but he was not successful. He even lost the election in 2022 against William Ruto. Very, very, very small margin. And as people want to celebrate Raila Odinga, they started creating mayhem. Apparently, the people pushed into the door, the gates where the body was put. So let's explain very easily, okay? You have the body of the Odinga right there. There is a gate in front of it. Now, his mourners and supporters break through the gate and they gap to. I don't understand why people have no discipline. I don't understand why people have no discipline, no respect. I don't get it. You need to have some level of self-discipline. What did your father teach you as a child? You're going to a place where they're mourning somebody's life. They're celebrating his existence and they're paying respect. And you pushing forward toward the body. For what? Why do you do that? Well, they were shot, unfortunately, with live ammunition. They were trying to disperse them. That was combined with tear gas. Okay, so live ammunition, that's also a bit rough. I don't know. What do you think? Live ammunition on people, why didn't they use, other calibers? Well, maybe they didn't have that. Maybe they didn't plan for people to do mayhem. How often do you go to a funeral expecting havoc to be created? It's only in black communities that you see things like this. My brother, black people are not disciplined. And I know you get triggered when I say that. And when I call African people shithole countries, people get triggered. Yeah, you must respect other people's country. Your country is shithole, my friend. You can be all angry you want. Your country is a shithole country. Okay? If your politicians and generals can drive up the road in a way that is a one-way, it's a shithole country. If in your country you can see generals and colonels in the street, it's a shithole country. How do you see a general driving in the street? It is a shithole country. If in your country, they prioritize people in a queue based on what they do as jobs or what representation they have in society, it's a shithole country. If in your country, you can get somebody arrested just because you have connection with the politician and the soldiers, it's a shithole country. So don't come here and tell me, no, don't call other people's country. If your country has got a president that's been there for over 40 years, it's a shithole country. You know what I'm saying? So we should be able to tell each other the truth. This is not limited to Kenya. It's a lack of discipline. As much as they could have shot with, fake bullets, it's a lack of discipline on our people. Like, how do you expect a policeman to behave? Okay? While there's like thousands of people running toward him, how is he going to protect himself? He has to protect himself in some ways. It's either he's unalive or you are unalive. Now, if you have a chance between you being alive and the other person, who's going to stay alive? You're going to choose you all the time, right? This is not new. Look at this country right here. Look at these people. This is DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is the map of the country. This is Kinshasa. Okay, just keep in mind that every country you hear with the name of democratic before it's not democratic. Now, this is a scene where apparently there was a break-in in the bank. Okay, they were trying to rob a bank. And as they were trying to rob a bank, a special unit of police or special force came to try to negotiate, then break into the bank. Now, look at the amount of people you're seeing around this. This is a scene where they're going to be shooting. There are assailants in the bank, okay? And the guards are getting ready to enter so they can create havoc with live bullets. And look at the people. Why weren't these people dispersed? I'm just asking. Why would you do such an operation in front of so many people? What if bullets go, like, our level of stupid you need to be, like, I don't get that. It's like watching a movie of Commando, like live. This is insane. This is insane. What happened next? They went inside, and apparently the person that was held down the bank was a female. One of the main leaders was a female. That apparently came from Germany, needed some money. I don't know if she's 100% right in her head, and went to a bank with a fake gun. Okay, obviously later on we saw images of the female. They removed her clothes. I don't know why. Don't put that stuff. Okay, please cover it. Please don't show people that nakedness. I don't know why they kept her naked. I mean, arresting somebody for doing a criminal activity is 100% right. Taking her to justice is justified. But removing her clothes in public, what is that for? What is that for? Like, there are certain things you don't do. This is a black community thing. I mean, look at this place. This is South Africa. Look at this image. This is South Africa at the mall. It's Durban. Okay? What's happened in this situation was Jacob Zuma, a prominent political figure, ex-president of South Africa, was being sent to jail for whatever criminal activity he was condemned of. Okay? For taking money from the government, I believe, and taking some contract that were not legal. He was being sent to jail. Now, the people in KwaZulu-Natal or Durban, mostly Zulu people, were not happy with the fact that they were sending their leader to jail. Guess what they did? They boycotted the day. They walked in the street. They started a march, which started very peasant, very greatly peaceful march. Then later on, it escalated very quickly. What happened next? Next thing, they ran into the malls. They went into shopping centers, trying to loot and steal. How do you explain the fact that you went to the street to try to justify the fact that Mr. Zuma should remain free, as translated to you being in a shopping center trying to steal from ShopRite and Pick n Pay? I don't get that. How did you get from this, Zuma cannot go to jail, to you stealing refrigerators from a white serviceman? I don't understand that. It's the lack of discipline. It's the very low morality. And guess what some of these people did? I mean, these white people in Africa have dealt with black people so much that they know how they operate. Now, in this mall, what they did was the owners spilled purposely oil on the floor. They spilled oil all over the floor, knowing that when these looters and stealers and criminals will come, they will slide and fall on the ground. They will slip. And that's exactly what happened. Isn't that magical? Lack of discipline, lack of structure. You can't be living like animals. It's very sad. There's another image. I don't know which country that is. I think this is DRC too. Okay, there was an accident. Okay, a car that sells bread, I think delivers bread to shops that sells bread, had an accident. The driver was unconscious while the car is burning in front. Instead of saving the driver, people ran trying to steal bread. I don't understand that. What level of anger do you have? Or brainlessness? And then if somebody from a different race was saying this, you would call him what? No. If an Indian, a Chinese, or a white American was making a video like this, what would you call him? Okay. I don't understand that. Well, peace be with him. For the fight he's fought for the people of Kenya. May the ancestors remind him and hold him tight. Now we're moving to Namibia. This is Namibia, fellas. Beautiful place, lovely people. Namibia has signed a great deal with Russia. They're going to be working together. Congratulations to Namibia. Piga makofi. Yeah, piga makofi means clap your hand in Swahili. Swahili is the most spoken language in Africa. Beautiful language. You speak Swahili in Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, eastern part of the Congo. So just imagine, people from different countries can just meet each other and start talking in Swahili. I mean, the reason why you can understand me is because I'm speaking English, and that's influenced by the English presence in colonies. As much as it is bad, that's the reason why we can understand each other. Now, people in East Africa don't need English. They can speak Swahili to one another. Okay. Now, in Namibia, something very interesting is happening. Namibia is signed a partnership deal on nuclear energy with Russia. Namibia has a brand new president, this lady right here. Beautiful lady, very strong. Mama Nandi, amazing. In Africa, generally, somebody else's mother, you don't call them by the name, you call them mama, out of respect. I know kids from nowadays want to change things around, saying auntie. Actually, we never had aunties, it was mama. I remember as a child, secondary school, I went to one of my friends' house and I ate. They gave me food, I ate. When I finished eating, I said to his mom, "Thank you, auntie." Okay, she was, "No, I'm not your auntie, I'm your mother." She corrected me right away. I'm not your auntie, I'm your mother. It was with warmth and love. I will never forget. That's Patrick Mwekassa, his mother. She told me, "I'm not your auntie, I'm your mother." That was beautiful. Lovely lady. She spread them. Anyway, let's get back on track. So Namibia has done some great things. Let's see some interesting fact about Namibia. It's a beautiful place. It's got the world's oldest desert. Okay, desert, world oldest. I think in Namibia you actually find the desert coming together with the sea. It's a beautiful place where the desert meet the sea, and animals have adapted to that environment. Such a beautiful place. Namibia is also the second least populous country in the world. Okay, it says the least people in the world. They have about 2.5 million human beings who live in peace. They're happy with one another. Namibia was one of the most stable democracies in Africa. Okay. Yeah, no soldiers driving trucks in the street, driving bad, and as soon as you ask him to drive correctly, he beat you up like this in Nigeria. Things like this you can only see in countries like Nigeria, Congo, and all the you don't see none of that in Namibia. There's respect, okay? Nobody cares who's chief, who's boss. I mean, you look at the countries where people like to call each other chief, boss. Mayhem, havoc, no respect. Have you ever seen white people call each other chief, boss? No, they don't do that. If they call you boss, it's because you're their boss, for real. In Africa, people call you boss either because they fear you or because they expect you to give them money. It's never genuine. Chief is because they fear you because of your social status or because they expect you to give them money directly. Well, white people don't do that and other people. I'm sorry. Is it bad? Well, you see, the majority of country where people call each other chief, boss, and all that stuff, it's mayhem, it's havoc. They will throw you in jail because you looked at a girl that the general is interested in. Just looking at her ass. Yes, and yash. Anyway, in Namibia, you don't find that. Namibia is also very interesting because Namibia is a country where you find, in politics, there's a young Congolese lady that is a minister of health. Congratulations. Namibia is right here. Look at the map. DRC is here, very far away. This lady in the name of Dr. Esperance Luvinda was born in Windhoek. She was born in Namibia in 1994. She proudly embraced Congolese heritage because her parents are originally from the Congo, but she considers herself as Namibian. Okay, she also speaks fluently Lingala, which is a very spoken language in the Congo, both Congos, and French. But she's very much Namibian. She went to school to Namibia. She developed in Namibia. She went to university in Namibia. She first worked in parliament, then became a minister of health in Namibia. Brother, that's very inspiring. Why is that inspiring? Because no African country lack foreigners like that. I know Africans are very fast when they want to talk negatively about white people. Yeah, white people have colonized us. White people have done this, that. How do you treat each other? That's the question. How do Africans treat one another? That's the problem. My brother, you will never be a prominent person in politics in most African countries if they cannot track your ancestry. Africans are some of the most xenophobic people in the world. I'm going to be honest with you. I know. Other people say, South Africans are xenophobic. Yes, are they xenophobic? Yes, they are xenophobic. A lot of South Africans are xenophobic. Is everybody xenophobic? No. But there are lots of them like xenophobic. Absolutely. Would somebody from Congo or Namibia be minister in South Africa? I'm not sure about that. Can somebody from Namibia be minister in the Congo? Well, I doubt that very much. I don't think it's possible. They will remind her every day, this is not your country. You must go back to your country. In the meantime, America was built with Irish people, German people, French people, Dutch people. They don't see color and origins. It's that. It's that selfishness. I must eat by myself. They must serve us first. So you guys think in Namibia Namibia, there are no Namibian born whose ancestry is Namibia that could use that slot as a minister of health and be the minister of health. You think in Namibia there's no other people that went to school like this lady, Esperance Luvindao, okay? That's Namibian in ancestry that could assume this role. Do you think Namibians are crazy and stupid for allowing her to use that slot and be minister? No. It creates something beyond what you... Like, it creates something you cannot understand. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. It was a great pleasure. Congratulations to Namibia signing a great deal with Russia. It's amazing. You know, the president reminds people that the Soviet Union was present when Namibia was looking for freedom against the South African apartheid era. Yes, Namibia was colonized also a little bit like by South Africa. You know, the white people of South Africa colonized South Africa. They also colonized Namibia. So Namibia needed freedom and the Soviet Union helped them a great deal. Again, in Kenya, deadly clash. Many people unalived because of stupidity. That is pure stupidity. They shouldn't have broke that gate walking towards a prominent person's body. Have some respect. And also, could they have used different measures to try to stop the... Yes, to the possibility. Unfortunately, it's a very sad situation. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. Always a great pleasure. So a young man from Arsenal, former Arsenal football player, Thomas Partey, this man right here, has been charged in 5 counts of grape. You know what grape is. You can't say the name because you get sanctioned by YouTube, but you know what grape is. 5 counts of grape offense have been reported, okay, in 2021 to 2022. This man from Ghana, Ghanaian, okay, he denies the charges, but a lot of things have happened so far. Partey joined Arsenal in a big contract of $45 million. Sorry, 45 million pounds. That's how many dollars is that? And was a good player. 35 top flight appearances last season. Scored 4 goals as the London club finished second in Premier League. He also played 12 times in the Champions Leagues as a Ghana. I don't understand, my brother. You know, I don't get this community. I'm sorry, I need to tell you the truth. Why are there so many cases of grape among black players? I don't understand this. I need us to have a conversation. So this guy from Ghana has shaken his whole career because of a situation of grape. Could it have been avoided? Well, in most cases, yes. In most cases, I know a lot of people, before you come here and say, yeah, they lie about it and all that stuff. My question is, why is there so many cases of grapes among black people rather than other people? Yes, other people do have cases of grape too. Other players from other races, but there's much more cases of rapes among black people than there are in any other race. Taking into consideration, I mean, the international scene of soccer is mostly European, not African, and these accusations are happening in Europe, not Africa. So how come in Europe you're seeing much more cases of black players accused of rape than white people? I don't know what the disease is. This man right here, his name is Benjamin Mendy. Benjamin Mendy was a former player for Manchester City. Great future, okay? He faced multiple rape cases. Multiple rape cases, my man. How do you get to multiple rape cases? I can understand one girl wanted you so bad she could get you, she had to accuse you. But multiple cases? How do you get to that? And I'm not saying he raped anybody. I'm saying, how do you position yourself in a place where you are accused of multiple cases of rapes? That's my question. His career has gone this way. He had a great destiny. How many people, what are the chances of you becoming such a great human being in the world of sports and making so much money for your family and ruining it because of a hard-on? I don't get it. This man right here, Manson Greenwood, January 2022, Greenwood was arrested on suspicion of rape, assault, and coercive control following a social media post by a woman alleging abuse. Okay, he later was charged in October for attempted rape, assault, and controlling behavior. How do you position yourself in that place? I'm just asking. I mean, somebody you never met can never say, he raped me. You must have been together in a closed place where nobody else was because there's no witness, at least. Why are you in places like that with people like this? I'm just asking. This kid's career has gone south because right now he's under internal review by Manchester United. In September, he joined a smaller club in Spain on loan, marking the return to professional football, but his reputation will never be the same. Have you ever seen a player who was accused of rape still become great without clearly cleaning things? It almost never happened. Look at this man here, Clayton McDonald. He's black. Again, accused of what? Rape. Why can't you keep it in the pant? I'm just asking. Why can't you keep it in the pant? This man right here, Williams Kokolo, is from Congo. Congolese people like to shake them hands like this. Look at the Congolese people dancing. They always just dance by the waist. I'm just wondering if they can do the way they do the dancing. I mean, some people can shake their ass like that, but they can't do nothing in Parliament. That's not the subject anyway. He was accused of rape. Crazy. He was later on cleared. But how do you get cleared in a situation? It means you put yourself in a position, you went too close to a situation. Okay, this man here, Beverly Bez Lubala, Congolese, also accused of rape, shaking the ass. Congolese like to shake the ass. You know, at least I guess you this is just crazy. Fellas, we need to ask ourselves some serious questions. Why are we always accused of such things, such situations? I mean, let's just check in the world, just to be sure. Which is the country with the most rape cases in the world? Let's ask Copilot, okay, AI, what is the country with the highest rate of rape in the world? Okay, Copilot says South Africa is number 1 in the world, followed by India, then Sweden. Okay, and in Sweden, let's see, the cases in Sweden are reported from mostly foreigners. Then we have Botswana. These are 4 countries. And after that, we have the Democratic Republic of Congo. And in the DRC, this country right here, there's a lot of cases of rape, but this is a country at war, okay? It's a conflict zone kind of rape. It's not just the everyday, the neighbor calls you over and they rape you. Why so many rapes? I'm asking, why so many rapes? It's easy to say. If somebody from a different race said to say this, you will say he's racist. We need to have these conversations. Why can't we keep it in the pant? Okay, because this translates in many ways. And we see with this behavior, so many people with children that are parentless. I'm sorry, like women with... This culture has created so many single mothers, okay? So many single mothers. Why are there so many single mothers in Africa? Let's see which countries have the most single mothers, the most single mothers in the world. Okay, we have South Africa again. We have the black community in the United States of America. 54% of African American families are single mothers. 47% of black South Africans are single mothers. 54 and 47, that's a lot. The black community. Why? Why other communities don't have these kind of problems? If you look into the history, I mean, there are many reasons. Some of the reasons are external and legit, but some of the reasons are internal. Let's find out. In the United States of America, for instance, one of the reasons why you find so many single mothers, women with many children from different fathers, it comes back to history. Okay, back in history, the legacy of slavery and family disruption. Well, for those of you who don't know, during slavery, black families were deliberately separated by slave masters. Okay, they cut ties. They will take a husband from this family, take him away, and leave the family alone. And the family will have to continue living without the father figure. And with that, people got used to that. Okay, this undermined the long-term family formation and had lingering effects post-emancipation. So most families felt like, you know what, we may as well just continue this way. There's nothing wrong with being fatherless. We can persist, which was damaging to the community of African Americans. Number 2 is mass incarceration. These are genuine external reasons why many African American communities have no fathers. Okay, mass incarceration. The goal was simple. Take the black man, throw him in jail. Leave the black woman by herself. When she's alone and fragile, she will sleep with many men and have many children from different fathers. And she will learn to be strong and teach her children to be strong because fathers are not present. Black Americans in the US are incarcerated at a much higher rate than any other race. Well, why people in America justify that, saying that black Americans are the most criminals? Is this true? Well, I don't know. Well, another reality is people in jail in America are used for labor. So it's a business. They want you to be in jail so they can use you to build things for Walmart and other companies at a very low pay rate. It's easier to hire a prisoner than hiring a normal American and pay them a salary. The salary of a prisoner is absolutely nothing compared to, you know what I mean? It's a business. People talk about democracy and capitalistic system. It's not necessarily good. I'm sorry. It sounds nice. Oh, it's a democracy. Well, democracy, they're using prisoners not to be rehabilitated into the society, but they're using prisoners for hard labor at a cheap price. And in most cases, they use black African Americans, men in prison. They give more opportunities to black women, but not to the black men. And also you see yourself in a society where as a black woman, the majority of men are way below you. It becomes very difficult to found a family because you want to have somebody at your level at least, which is another subject. I don't necessarily agree to that. I think a man is not necessarily what he brings to the table in terms of money. I think a decent man in a family is also a leader. A father is a leader. A father is a pastor. A father is a professor, a director, a friend, a psychologist, not just a money provider, which is a mentality that's embedded and forced into the black African American woman's brain to think that the man should necessarily bring more money than you. I don't think it's the truth, because there are many African families where fathers and mothers are present. They're happy, where the father doesn't necessarily bring as much money. It's, at least manhood is not defined by the amount of money or check that you bring home. It's the mentorship to your children. It's the partnership you have with your partner and many other things. So we do have genuine reason to say the reason why black communities in Africa are destabilized. It becomes a cultural shift. Again, strong traditions of maternal independence in black communities due to historical necessity. I mean, if you find yourself alone as a woman with nobody to trust sometimes, nobody to look after you, you have to be strong and continue. But there's another point which is not necessarily external, that is internal. It's the mentality we've acquired of being single. The mentality of exchanging partners. I mean, this is not limited to African American. Let's go to Africa. Look at South Africa, for instance, because South Africa does have the highest rate of single mothers in Africa. Okay, yeah, that's true. Single families where fathers are not present, fathers absent. Some people have never met their fathers, which is very sad. But let's find out. There's an external problem to that. What is it? Apartheid legacy. The apartheid legacy is very simple. Apartheid laws controlled black mobility. So black people in South Africa could not just move from one spot to the other easily. They needed to provide a passport in their own country to move from one city to the other. So for labor, forcing men to work far away from their families, companies put people away from their families. Okay, this created long-term family separations. When the father goes far away to work to win bread and the family is far away for years, what happens? It's instability. There was no cell phone back in time for communication, for reassurance. People lose hope and stuff like that. Many fathers were absent due to migrant labor system. They changed them from one spot to the other. It became very difficult. Number two, there's what you call social grant system. Okay, the social grant is basically child support in South Africa, where single mothers receive money from the government. It's not a lot of money, but to look after the children. Unfortunately, some people have gotten used to that and they're just fine with it. Because the father was not present, mom or grandmother took care of us with no problem. I'm sure I can do the same. There's no urge to actually want to be with somebody for real, because you are accustomed to being the breadwinner. Number three, it's paying the dowry, the lobola. Lobola has become very expensive. Dowry is lobola. Dowry is found in most African countries. Most black countries pay dowries. Listen, we have more similarities than differences. The dowry is when the man's family go to the woman's family giving gifts. It's supposed to be gifts, symbolic. It's not symbolic anymore. It used to be give a panga, a knife, a pair of shoes and clothes. Now it's money, cows, not necessarily cows, but the value of cows in terms of money. It could be 10 cows, 20 cows or more. It's a lot of money. And because they ask for so much money now, depending on the quality of the woman, and the quality of the woman is defined by what? I mean, if she's childless, the price goes higher. If she's gone to university, the price goes higher. If she's a doctor, the price goes higher. Engineer, higher. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a market. They're selling the girl. It used to be traditional. Now it has become very discouraging for many men. How do you gather $10,000 to go and marry a girl? I mean, not everybody has that. Those are external problems. But internal problems is we have gotten used to promiscuity. Let me put it this way. Whether it's African American, South African, or any other African country, it's promiscuity. Okay, it's crazy, but we need to talk about this. Yes. How do we justify this? Which are the countries with the highest HIV rate in the world? Well, we're looking at countries with the highest HIV rate. We have Eswatini. You look on the map. Botswana, Lesotho, South Africa. You can see that. That is Africa. Many African nations are into that. And African American community in America have the highest HIV rate. So something is wrong somewhere. I know many people will say to you, HIV is not a natural disease. It was created and injected into the people. You hear a lot of people say that. Well, let's think for a second that theory is correct. So it's worked. It's massive worked if it's worked. If they injected into somebody, then the reason why it's going is because somebody's been doing something with somebody, that somebody did something with somebody and somebody went with somebody, then it's propagated. It's worked. Something had to be done. We need to get back to the values of we are dating for 1 year maximum and get married. Because back in time, actually, the dating thing never existed. Taking a boy back to your father's house, say he's my boyfriend, has never existed. This mentality of me and my girl staying together never existed. Not in African household, you can't do that. But nowadays, when a woman is a breadwinner is basically the woman that brings the bread home. She makes money. Nobody has to tell her anything. She has her own house. She has a boyfriend and stuff like that. Well, in many African countries, you cannot have your own house even if you're 30 years old as a woman. You're going to stay with your family until somebody comes and marry you. And also, you cannot start sleeping with a man in the house until he marries you. Well, it sounds like it's backward, but it worked. Because back then, men will try everything they can to spend a full night with you. Therefore, for him to get to that, he has to come officially and marry you. Now, when somebody marries you officially, there's no way he's going to run away from you if he makes you pregnant. Well, at least the percentages are very low for a married man to run away because you're pregnant. Today, we give away things very quickly. You give away things you should have been giving as a married person for free. Why would you be married to somebody you're already giving everything for free? I'm just asking. Fellas, this is a real problem, with our communities. Why is this? Look at these youngsters, these soccer players. What is wrong with them? Yes, there has been cases of white people being accused, but this is recurrent among our communities. These young players, as soon as they're trying to break into something happens, and it's relatively about sexual activities. And I don't understand that. How can you target a community like that? I don't get that. Let me know how you feel about this. Always with respect, like I always say, this is not a specific problem to a specific nation. This is a problem to our community, the entire community. Some side of our communities are touched more than other sides. Cases of rapes, it's reported in many places more. This is crazy. Let me know. God bless.